Before you learn about what happens to our bodies during sex, I thought it would be good to briefly explore a more fundamental question in reproduction. Why do people have sex? We asked our on-campus students to share their reasons with you, and you might be surprised at some of their responses.
Why do people have sex?
Because it's an intimate act that can bring people closer together.
Maybe because they love each other.
For fun.
Yeah?
Yep, to have kids. I guess sciencey for reproduction, but I guess like in human nature for fun as well.
They're attracted to each other, man. Yeah, bit of fun.
Probably for enjoyment. Maybe a different way of doing cardiovascular fitness, I think.
Okay, so to make babies, of course, and for fun.
Generally because it's like a sort of an emotional connection, and they just, I guess, they kind of want to share that sort of experience with one another. So
For fun.
Stress relief.
Well, the main reason is to procreate, to produce more babies and increase the population.
It feels great. Straight up, it feels great.
Why do people have sex? It might seem like a silly question, but it's an extremely important question. For many years, it was assumed that humans had sex for three basic reasons: to reproduce, to experience pleasure, and to relieve sexual tension. However, recent studies indicate that there are in fact hundreds of different reasons for sex. Not understanding people's motivations for sex can have detrimental impacts on relationships. If you consider a typical relationship between a man and a woman, the man would most likely want to have sex for pleasure, and the female would most likely want to have sex for love and commitment. In such a relationship, sex either doesn't occur or occurs but is dissatisfying for both partners. One of the most notable studies on sexual motivation was conducted by two psychologists from the University of Texas, Professors Cindy Meston and David Buss. You can find a link to their 2007 research paper below this video. In the first part of their study, Meston and Buss surveyed 444 psychology students, 203 males and 241 females, aged between 17 and 52 years. And they confidentially asked them the same question that you were asked in our Why Sex survey, namely, to list the reasons why people engage in sexual activity or sex. Students identified an incredible 237 different reasons for sex, ranging from the expected, I want to experience physical pleasure, to the altruistic, I wanted the person to feel good about himself or herself, to vengeful, I wanted to get back at my partner for having cheated on me. In the second part of their study, 1,549 participants were asked to evaluate the degree to which each of the 237 reasons for sex had led them to have sexual intercourse. 4 large factors and 13 sub-factors were identified. The first large factor is emotional reasons. Sub-factors include love and commitment, to feel connected, to bond, to express love in a relationship. And secondly, expression, to express an emotion to a partner, such as I missed you. The second large factor is physical reasons. These include stress reduction, to relieve anxiety or stress, pleasure, to feel good, have fun or experience an orgasm, physical desirability, to be sexually with someone who is physically attractive. And finally, experience seeking, to see what sex is all about or to act out a fantasy. The third factor is goal attainment reasons. These include resources, to obtain something such as a child, job or money. Social status, to be popular, impress or enhance one's reputation. Revenge, to get back at a partner or make someone jealous. And utilitarian, to get out of doing something or test compatibility. And the final large factor is insecurity reasons. These include a self-esteem boost to feel better, powerful, attractive, or to get attention. And duty or pressure to fulfill an obligation or duty. And finally, mate guarding to get a partner to stay or to promote faithfulness. In their study, Meston and Buss also noticed several gender differences in reasons for sex. Men were much more likely to have sex for physical, insecurity or goal attainment reasons. But both men and women were equally likely to have sex for emotional reasons. In addition, monogamous participants primarily had sex for love and commitment, whilst those comfortable with sex outside of a monogamous relationship were more likely to have sex for physical, goal attainment and insecurity reasons. To summarise, we hope that you now have an appreciation for the many varied reasons why people have sex. It's not just because it feels good or we want a baby.
Yeah, I guess the main reason for sex in an evolutionary sort of point of view is to actually reproduce and to actually pass on one's genes. However, there are other reasons, as we know, for example, with regards to physical attraction, a means to an end, an increasing sort of emotional connection, perhaps alleviating insecurity, alleviating stress, as some people actually use sex for. But there are other sorts of reasons, and this involves the darker side, like, for example, sexual deviant gratification when the people do have sex. So that needs to be considered as well. Okay, the proposed sort of benefits for sex really is stress reduction. Perhaps people sleep better after having sex. There is greater contentment in life with regards to sex. Also physiologically, blood pressure decreases with sex. There is an improved sense of smell, and that can be very, very gratifying. Also, studies have actually shown a decreased rate of prostate cancer associated with sex. And most importantly is the actual binding and the trust building that actually occurs, that sort of intimacy and that increases the oxytocin levels of what we call the love hormones. We've heard about the benefits of sex, but in contrast to the benefits of sex, sexual intercourse itself can be a disease factor as well. So what I'm talking about would be sexually transmitted infections, and currently there are about 340 million sexually transmitted infections diagnosed worldwide per year, and more than half of that is actually in the adolescents and in the very, very young adults, where it actually has got a lot of implications.